Look at those birdies. On the brown towel is all the quartz points. And on the blue we have milky chunkies and clear chunkies. All are great for, zoom out here. Woohoo! All are great for doing grids and whatnot. Then over here we got 4 double terminated 4 DTs, and then we got some golden healers chunks. This one here, that would actually make a pretty good wire wrap. I think I might wrap that one, make that into a, replace my golden healer chunk that I lost in the spring when the chain broke.
Hi! Say hi. Say hi. Hi. Say hi. No? You don't want to say hi? Say hi, look, right there. Look, who's that? That's Sammy. You see yourself? Look.
So, let's, all right, where to start? Oh, God, it's getting old stuff for the birds. About ready to run out of diesel in the heater back there. So I had to put most of it in my van, in the tank for the van. Gotta keep my sleeping arrangement, my home warm, you know. Actually, let's start off with something cool, a little science project here that I didn't know I was gonna do. I posted this on a Rockhound page. I had somebody say I could probably get a pretty penny for this on the street. Kind of looks like crystal something or other, you know. I don't know. I never touched that shit. Only thing I've ever touched is marijuana, and that's it. Growing up, I knew better. I knew that other stuff was poison, bad for you. If you touch it, it's gonna make you all win and ruin your life. And I believe, I was taught that, and I believed it, you know. I'm not sure why these other people that are taught the same thing growing up have decided, oh, let me try crack and meth. Yeah, let me smoke that shit. Knowing it's gonna, knowing it's poison. I guess I know I had a friend one time, he used to be addicted to meth, but he didn't know what was in it. He just was given it one time, tried it, liked it, got hooked, and then he went to his supplier, called him up and said, hey man, got some? Yeah, told him what time to be there. Well, he showed up early, walked in, and the guy was cooking on the kitchen stove another batch. And when he saw all the cleaners on the counter, he's like, and saw the pot boiling and smelled it, he's like, dude, what are you doing? He goes, I'm making meth. And he's like, he looked at the counter, he goes, that's what's in it? And the guy was like, yeah, what did you think was in it? He's like, I don't know, but I don't want no more. And he walked out and never touched it again, cleaned himself right up. Now, lucky for him, that happened before it got to where it killed him, or ruined his body to the point where, he's just 40 and looks like 90 or 100. But, anywho, little science project here. OxyClean and vinegar. I mixed the two together to make a fizzy fizz that is really great for using, dipping in it and scrubbing crystal clusters to make them glimmer and shine. You'd scrub them and then rinse them off with water, and they just, wow, nice, really good method, right? Well, every time I've been doing this for a couple years, and I've never kept the container with the vinegar and the stuff in it. And this time I left it here in my in the garage that I'm able to use to do some of my work and projects in the van and whatnot, and clean crystals, even though it's cold, and that's why heater's running, but it's about on E, so it'll soon stop. And it's still not warm in here, but warmer than outside, warmer than what it was for today when I started here. But yeah, so I never left it sit. Well, then I was like, what the heck's going on in the bottom of that? And it grew its own crystals. Now, I posted on a Rockhound page about it, and there's a guy on there. I was so happy to see his name pop up with a reply, because the man knows his stuff. He's like a genius when it comes to rocks, minerals, crystals, and all that scientific stuff. And he instantly wrote out the thing. The OxyClean is this. The vinegar, it combines, it does this, it makes this, or this happens. And then as the vinegar evaporates, and I was like, I thanked him. I'm like, thanked him for the info, because like I told him, I don't have enough RAM memory up here to be able to learn and memorize all that stuff. And but yeah, pretty cool crystal forms, you know. It's like, I kind of know it doesn't show up on the camera. I even use my macro lens and it don't really show up, because you got to move it so that you can see the three-dimensional of it. But it's pretty wild. So that's the happy part, you know, the funny, happy, scientific part of today. This whole weekend, I mean, I got done most of what I needed to get done this weekend. Had some handyman projects I had to do, which helps pay for my, you know, they could pay me cash, but instead I say, no, you let me use the garage, I'm using electricity, I'm using the heater, even though I'm putting the diesel fuel in it. You know, we're you know, fair and square, you know, even trade up. So Saturday morning, I had to go get my fourth shock, and finally it was delivered Friday afternoon. I was already at work when it got delivered, and so I went and picked it up. Figured, cool, now I can schedule my van into the garage for the front end rebuild and the shocks to get done in the wheel bearings. And I take the shock to my storage, because I had to go there to take the next part of this, of what I had to do there. So I go there and I open the box. The shock box looks like it's been to hell and back and through the war, through mail, like it went through Vietnam, came back, went to Afghanistan, Iraq, came back. It looked like hell, all taped up with clear packaging tape. Had a redone parts number sticker on the outside of the packing tape. Okay, well, the box looks like shit, but hey, as long as the shock's in there, who cares? So I cut it open. Shock's in the box. But unlike the other three shocks that I got, I am missing the bag that has the nut and the rubber bushings, the new rubber bushings, and the two metal washer caps that the rubber bushings go, that they sit against, to all be compressed into the top mount for the shock. So I immediately emailed Carid.com, and I told them in the email that they got two choices. They can get me my missing parts and or another brand new shock with the right parts for that part number, have it delivered to my address by December 7th, just because I like the number 7. And I figured by the time now they got the email, they actually replied this morning on Sunday morning. I was shocked. I figured they'd get it Monday. It would make them have to make people do something quickly and then pay extra for one-day shipping to make sure it's to me by the date. And of course, you know, that would be their punishment for the incompetence of their workers that keep screwing up this order. This is 2 screw ups for one order of 4 shocks for my van. So I send the email, and then my next line of business, I had to take a whole bunch of pictures and email pictures to a lady who owns a shop in West Reading, who wants to see what I have for sale on my crystals and stuff. So, me not being the technologically savvy person, you know, there's a few tech things that I like and I can do, and then there's everything else that I'm old school when it comes to that, right? So I'm messing with my phone, trying to figure out, I'm getting pictures taken, download them into the email, figuring out my wholesale price, which I went way under what I would like, what I know they're worth, only because of it, you know, the area. I figured, you know, I'm gonna take a little more loss and a little less profit. So I emailed this lady, and this was pretty early Saturday. Figured I'd get a reply on Saturday. Now, she replied this morning, Sunday morning, and her reply was, hey, thanks for taking the time to do that, but yeah, nah, at this point in time, I'm not going to be able to buy anything from you. I had some clear Hercs that sold fairly quickly, but the golden Herkimers don't sell quick. Well, first off, they're not golden Herkimers, they're golden healer Herkimers, okay? I've never heard anybody in the Herc community say, oh look, I got a golden Herkimer. No, we say, oh look, a golden healer. Which, for a shop that sells stuff, and the shop is designed around selling to people of certain belief systems, pagan, Wiccan, and whatnot, and others. A shop like that, you would think that their customers then would understand the benefits and the beliefs behind crystals and minerals and what they're good for and what they can do when it comes to chakras and all this and that, you know. So you would think a store like that would want the golden healers, and they should sell, because if the customers of that store that are in these belief systems had a clue on what it is in front of them at the store, they would scarf them up unless they were asking insane prices. I don't know, she didn't say how much she was getting for the clears and the golden healers, but you know, for the price that I was willing to sell mine to her for, there was a lot of room for profit, even if she wanted to sell them fairly cheap. If I'm selling a mid-size Herkimer Golden Healer Herc for $15 wholesale, she should easily be able to sell them for $40, $50, $60. Easy! They should fly off the shelf of the store. But, no, she didn't want to buy none right now. Which, I mean, the way it was worded, I've been through this with enough other rock shops and metaphysical stores and all that. I know what that means. That means, no, I'm not interested. And I know I say I'll get back with you later, but I won't. So, you know, hey, it is what it is. It's their loss. That's my philosophy on a lot of things in my life nowadays. It's their loss, because if they're not willing to have any knowledge or understanding, or you know, want to open their minds to things, then that's their loss, not mine. So I ended up, cause I posted pictures of my stuff, the same stuff that I have for sale, posted on a Rockhound page, and you know, Rockhounds appreciate the raw, natural, you know, Herkimers, quartz crystals, quartz clusters, all kinds of other minerals. You know, the azurite and malachite that I got. People are like, ooh, and a lot of people know. They know where I got it from. They know where I dug it up, where I mined it, because it's a well-known place, you know, to people in the rock hounding community. And you know, but so apparently all these stores that sell the little shiny tumbled stones of all different types, you know, that's and the common customer who goes in and buys that stuff, you know, it's like, I guess, sadly, I guess there's a lot of people that, you know, they like the concept of the belief system of believing in crystals and their healing capabilities and their energies and this and that, but I don't think they're true believers, because if they were, they would want to buy this other stuff. But because, so, you know, the main gist in the whole society's realm around this stuff right now is the man-made towers, which is all done with lapidary equipment. I have yet to ever pull a crystal out of the ground that's 6, 8, 10 inches long, which, I mean, of course, I can go to I know places I can go that I could find a big terminated crystal that's that long, but it might be way bigger. And the terminated point is not going to be like the ones on the towers that all these stores are selling. They're all selling the same thing that's made from by the same people, and it's mined. A lot of stuff is mined out of country. So chances are those mining companies where this stuff's being mined in other countries, it is being mined by adult and child slave labor, being paid $1 a day, say, you know, just for reference, $1 a day. Here you go. And they go to work and they dig and they process for 8, 10, 12 hours a day for $1. Now, the mine owner's making a fortune because he's getting real cheap labor. The product gets dug, mined, processed, tumbled, and then the mine operator sells that stuff to these wholesalers around the world, in the U.S. and outside the U.S. So now these wholesalers buy it, large quantities, real cheap price. They turn around and they sell it to these shops, and the shop's like, oh yeah, I could buy a bag of tiger's eye. Who knows how many? I mean, I haven't gone to the websites to actually see how much tiger's eye you get for how much, but I can guarantee you it's that cheap, because then they turn around and you go to a rock shop and they're selling the little tumbled stones for $2 a piece. And, you know, they're making profit, quite a bit of profit. So when I come along with natural goodies from local, you know, tri-state area around, you know, Pennsylvania, New York, you know, Jersey, you know, this stuff, it doesn't steal their wool, so to say, because it's not the shiny stuff. I mean, the way I clean it up, it is shiny. You know, I clean up, I mean, here, for example. All right, we got a cluster here on Host Rock. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe like 10 terminated points, crystal points, terminated crystals on that, in that piece. It's all cleaned up. It glimmers. It shines. You know, it looks pretty. But why would nobody want this? Only rock hounds, only true rock hounds, and people that want to get into rock hounding learn to enjoy Mother Nature's beautifulness right here. And a crystal gem store or a metaphysical store, they're not going to try to push. They don't want to try to push and sell this stuff, which they should, because this is natural. Okay? A lot of the stuff I get when I dig, yeah, I go through some surface stuff and I go through other people's tailings occasionally. But most of the time, I dig down and get the virgin ground that's never been touched before. So when I pull out stuff like this, I'm the first person to touch it. I bring it here, I clean it, I get it all cleaned up and ready to go. Now me as a believer in crystals, my good energy and its good energy, we're jiving. So if I sell it to a store and they put it on a shelf and then somebody comes and buys it, it's got good juju, good vibes, good everything, you know, and it could work well. Oh, actually, hell, I just missed. There's even crystals on the bottom side of the host rock. There's a whole bunch of terminated points down here. Huh. So, you know, a piece like this, you know, and hey, I mean, if I'm selling this to somebody, oh, I'd say, you know, maybe 10, 15 bucks. Maybe 20. I mean, actually, to me, I would say, I know that I would, if I was going to buy this stuff, you know, the fact that if I didn't have the ability or the know-how or everything to be able to go dig and I wanted to buy this, I would pay 20, 30 bucks for this easy. Just because it's a great little specimen to be in my collection, you know. Then you got a piece like this where we got three terminated crystals right here on these points. Then you got a crystal here, but now of course, you know, a lot of these crystals, depending on where I dig these up at, they grow in big giant clusters and the crystal comes out. Now it looks broken. It's not really broken. That's just where there was another crystal. You know, the crystals all kind of grow together and they choke each other off, so they can't terminate. Most of the time they don't terminate. But then because it's got the milky quartz in it, the iron oxide that's present for crystals to grow, it also eats away after it's done growing. Iron oxide will decompose milky quartz. It will not decompose a clear crystal quartz crystal, only because it's too hard for it to decompose, since, you know, quartz is 7 to 8 or 7 on the Mohs scale, you know. But now this little piece, because it don't have a lot of points, you know, $5 maybe for that, you know. But you know, and then I got little double terms, you know, little double terminated. You know, now this is something that double terms, some places you can find more double terms than others. In some locations, it's a rarity to find double terms. And when you find some, like out of what I just cleaned over the last week and a half, almost 2 weeks, I had 4 double terms in there, 4 DTs. And then now this has all been soaked in iron out. And because that yellow is still in there, that makes these golden healers. Now, for people that understand crystals, then a golden healer, I had one and I felt I actually felt better. I had it wire wrapped. I wire wrapped it myself and I wore it every day all the time. I never took it off. And then one day I had a friend of mine make me a resin crystal with some of my dad's ashes in it, and I added it to that chain. And I remember, I have a picture on my phone. I remember I took it off to sleep because I didn't want it wrapping around and getting caught on anything. So I always took it off to sleep. I remember that morning waking up where I parked in the van. I took a picture of it the two together. I had it on my leg. I took a picture. I put it on. I got out, walked around, got in the van, drove to my storage unit. I did some stuff there on my van in front of the storage unit. Then I went from there to a Chinese restaurant. And from there, I went to the place that I parked to sleep that night. And then I realized it's gone. So the next day, I backtracked. And I went to, and I had stopped at Turkey Hill, I think, to get cigarettes and tea. So I actually backtracked to all those places where I got out of my van at. Checked on the ground, checked in the store, checked in the building of the Chinese restaurant. Nobody claimed to have seen it on the floor anywhere. Nobody picked it up and turned it in saying, hey, I think somebody lost this outside. Nope, it was gone. So I guess, you know, if somebody really wanted to have some of my dad's ashes, more power to them. But the golden healer, when I lost that, I did notice a difference. So I'm thinking that this one here, I think I'm gonna have to go to my storage and dig out my wire wrap stuff. And I think I'm gonna wrap this one and make this my new golden healer. But yeah, so I don't understand, you know, I guess like I said, only rock hounds appreciate and understand the rawness and the materials, the minerals and everything we go through to dig this stuff, find this stuff in the earth. And yet, I mean, crystal points, I got this entire container full of crystal points. And then I got this whole container of clear and milky crystal chunk pieces that don't have terminated points on them. Both of these together, or even just one or the other, is great for doing crystal grids. Which, again, store today, the lady that emailed me back and doesn't want any of this stuff, I'm confused because how could you not? If you are dealing with pagan, Wiccan, other belief systems along those lines, a lot of those people do crystal grids and stuff on their altars. How would you not want to buy this from me to sell? Because your customers should want this stuff. You know, I have friends that are, you know, I have a rockhound friend who's pagan gypsy. And I remember, I've seen her altar. You know, she didn't have none of that man-made lapidary bullshit on her altar. She had all natural, raw goodness. And not only that, she also had a gift that she could feel the energy. I mean, I could feel the energies, but she could walk barefoot around an area that we were gonna dig. And she'd be like, nope. I remember one of the first trips I went on with her and a couple other people, she told her one friend, hey, dig right here. She kept walking. She's like, I'm gonna dig here. I said, you gonna pick a spot for me? She goes, nope, you gotta earn that. Oh. So I went right between the two of them, made a pyramid, made a triangle. And I got lucky. I was finding a boat ton of little pencil lead, like the real skinny, longer, you know, quartz terminated crystals. But both of them, they found awesomeness. And because she felt it, she could feel the energy from it and know that there is some nice crystals down there at that spot. And they only had to dig down 2-3 foot at most, probably 2 foot, you know, but within a foot they were finding stuff. Dig down 2 foot, they're finding nice bigger pieces, terminated, you know, points. So I understand how it works in those belief systems and everything, and with people that have the gift, you know, different gifts and stuff, how much these crystals can do for what they can do for them, and how, you know, the energy and everything else. And yet you got all these crystal shops and metaphysical shops that don't seem to have a clue, which really makes me wonder how many of these metaphysical stores are even legit. You know, I mean, I guess, you know, anybody could claim to be. I mean, I know a couple psychic places that I've proven that they're fake. They couldn't psychic their way out of a wet paper bag with a hole already started. But to the people that don't know any better, I guess, you know, they can con their way through. And, you know, most times people go to a psychic and they'll, oh, I want to know about this, I want to know about that. Well, depending on, you know, a psychic con can easily read somebody and say, okay, they want to know about this, and they're thinking this in their head. They want to know about this or that. They're happy or sad. By that, they know which way to go with their I see. Somebody says, people talking to me from the other side, and they can play people easy. Then there are people that actually have the gift. My ex-wife, dead people talk to her. Yep, she didn't want the gift. She ignored it for years, tried to ignore it and just keep it out of her mind and not think about it, not use it. And then she finally realized that she needs to just use it because she has a gift. But, you know, I don't know, I guess it's really strange now. After posting on the Rockhound page, I've got, funny that the one place I went, the lady told me she couldn't buy from me because she already had a supplier that she buys from. And I respected that. She, you know, she was probably thinking, you know, if I buy from you, then we're stepping on her toes. She's already my provider for crystals and stuff. So, yeah, I can't buy from you. Well, now, just so happens through the Rockhound page, guess who comments on my post? The lady who is supplying that shop. And she says, she mentions the shop and says that she sells stuff in that shop. And, I said, well, yeah, I was in there. Nice lady. She was very nice and polite about it. And I could easily understand why she didn't want to buy from me at the time. And I had no hard feelings, really. I had no attitude from her, so I had no hard feelings from that shop owner that they didn't want to buy from me at that moment. But now that I communicated with her other supplier, now her supplier had me PM her some pictures, and she's going to talk to the owner and be like, hey, you know, you don't have to pass up buying cool stuff from somebody else, you know, because she even said, you know, you guys have way more cooler stuff than I've got because I'm a newbie. She's a newbie Rockhound. So me having a few years under my belt and the stuff that I have found in the past and recently and places I know to go, I can find a lot of cool stuff, you know. And we're running out of battery. Getting ready. Gonna kill the battery. Okay. Too many attempts to make a video today. And I charged it earlier too. So that's 2 battery charges full and just to make one video. And I guess I'm gonna have to just let this one be the one. So yeah, she's gonna talk to the owner of the store. And of course I do have the lady at the local store in Lebanon that bought some stuff from me. Waiting to hear back from her if she's ready to buy any more, because she had an expo rock show, and she said after that she would buy more from me because she'd have money. And so I'm hoping that went well for her. If not, I guess maybe that's why I'm not hearing back from her. But I did email her and asked her if she was ready. But it is a first come, first serve, so if somebody else decides they want to buy and pay my retail price, or if somebody else wants to buy wholesale from me, you know, because they have a store, which I will only sell wholesale to somebody that has a legit business where they're selling crystals. Otherwise, it's retail, and if you want to buy a larger quantity or a few pieces, I can be inclined to maybe, you know, cut a little break, because I'm a nice guy like that, you know. I just want to make enough money to cover what it costs me in gas and pay fees to go dig and collect all this stuff, you know. I at least need to recoup that, so I have that money. I can put that money aside for next year to pay my trip to get back up to New York to get more hertz, you know. Because it is $100 an 8-hour day at most places, except for a couple. There's two places I could go. I think one's $12 a day, the other one, but that's hard rock mining, and you're not going to get a lot. Chances, I mean, I've dug there before, and I tried to bust rock apart, and I need to get more. I got to get more steel wedges, leaf spring wedges, which I'm hoping when I actually replace the leaf springs on my van, I'm going to take the old ones, I'm going to cut them down, and then have to re-temper, heat treat the ends when I cut them. I'm going to have to cut them slow, and then I'm still going to probably have to heat treat them so they don't mangle right away. And then I'll have more steel wedges to be able to do hard rock mining next year. So one place I could go to do hard rock is $12 a day, and another place I could go is $100 a day for 8 hours. Another place I could go. Well, this when I went this year, it was $14, which was up 2 years ago. I think it was $10. Now this year it was $14. So who knows what their price will be next year? It might be 20 or 18 or 16. Who knows? But there I could go and do some hard rock mining as well. Not so much doing ledge work, but I could hard rock mine the big rocks down the little rocks to find the Herkimers that are in the big hard rock bugs, the bugs in the big rocks. Other locations, you know, I could go and swing but there's places I could go that are free, and I could swing a sledgehammer all day like I did before, and break big rocks into little rocks, and then find cubes of pyrite, you know, and that stuff's pretty cool. I mean, it's not Spain pyrite, but specimens I had in my collection that I sold to a lady were pretty nice, you know, for Pennsylvania pyrite. Nice size cubes. Had the matrix host rock where it was as the display mount, so, you know, stuff like that. But I gotta be able to sell this stuff to get the money for the next year's mining, because I'm still trying to, you know, get my van finished, getting it fixed up and ready so it's safe to keep driving longer distances. I got a few other things to get for it. Then I gotta get tires, because my tires are wore out already from the front end being wore out. I destroyed a brand new set of tires in a year and a half. Yeah, in about a little over a year, I destroyed a set of tires, and I kept rotating them, but they are worn bad on the inside. Steel cord's about to show any day now, and of course, I got to make money so I can get all the parts and pay the labor to get the work done and get the tires. You know, stuff ain't free. So, but yeah, so that's been my weekend. Nice and cold out, but the diesel heater in the van's working wonderful, keeping me nice and toasty warm. Just the way I like it. Sleeping good in my bed with the heat. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's been my weekend. Since the battery's dying, I'll let you all go. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I do believe, I think I gained another subscriber. I'm up to 56 now. So whoever subscribed late recently, thank you. I appreciate it. One more closer to, yeah. What is that? 900 and 944 more to go. Yeah, so maybe we'll get there, maybe we won't. But I'm gonna go to bed now because I gotta get up in the morning and do some stuff and load up stuff that I got out for my projects this weekend here. So I will catch you all later. And remember, fight for love, not hate. Hate gets us nowhere. So peace out.